Welcome to today's explainer. We're going to dive deep into our source materials and translate them into a real, actionable roadmap for locking down your financial future. Because looking at these texts, one thing jumps out immediately. Building wealth isn't just about making money. It's about aggressively protecting what you already have and preparing for the stuff you absolutely cannot predict. So we're going to explore how blending rock-solid defensive measures with proactive, everyday habits is the true secret to building a financial fortress, one that can withstand pretty much whatever life decides to throw your way. Okay, let's kick things off with a brutally honest question. Is your financial fortress truly secure? Now, you might have some savings tucked away, you might even have a strict budget you follow, but our sources really challenge us to ask if we're genuinely protected against modern digital threats or those massive, unforeseen life challenges. Honestly, it's so easy to just assume we're safe right up until a crisis actually hits. So this explainer is all about shifting from a passive, hope-for-the-best mindset to an active, completely fortified approach. To get there, we're going to build this fortress step by step. Our agenda today covers the modern financial battlefield, spotting the traps, the scam detector, your emergency fund lifeline, and finally, the superpower of literacy. All right, diving into Section 1, the modern financial battlefield. Protecting your digital identity. Our sources make it incredibly clear. Scammers are just constantly scanning for vulnerabilities in how you protect your identity. You know, a staggering number of breaches start with literally just one reused password. Criminals don't always need to pull off some highly complex movie-style bank heist. They just need you to leave a digital window cracked. Specifically, they're exploiting four major areas. Weak passwords. Those act like a really flimsy lock on your front door. Poor general online security means you don't even have an alarm system set up. Phishing attacks are designed to trick you into just handing over the keys yourself by posing as someone you trust. And public Wi-Fi risks. While doing your banking on public Wi-Fi is kind of like shouting your account details across a crowded coffee shop. So it really comes down to a choice between a weak defense and a fortified one. A weak defense is built purely on convenience. It's logging into your bank account on that public Wi-Fi because it's fast, or using a password that takes a hacker about 2 seconds to guess. A fortified defense, though, that is intentional. It means putting strong online security protocols in place and actively training yourself to spot those deceptive phishing attempts long before you ever click a link. The difference between these two mindsets is quite literally the difference between total financial safety and a devastating, life-altering loss. Moving right along to Section 2, spotting the traps, navigating deceptive schemes. You've absolutely got to know what you're up against out there. Whether it's high-tech online fraud or your classic old-school deceptive scheme, scammers always prey on our natural desire for quick, easy returns. Let's take the pyramid scheme, for example. This is a fraudulent setup where the profit relies entirely on recruiting new members, rather than any real investments or actual product sales. Our sources heavily flag these too good to be true offers. The key takeaway here is recognizing that the structure itself is the scam. There is zero underlying value. Realizing that is absolutely essential to protecting your hard-earned assets. Which brings us to Section 3, this scam detector, your tactical guide to red flags. Let's build your mental scam detector. By actively running through these 4 steps, you can spotlight a scam before it ever gets near your data. It starts with one very simple action: pause. Step 1, pause and evaluate the offer. Never let a false sense of urgency dictate your actions. Step 2, spotlight those too good to be true promises. If somebody is guaranteeing massive returns with absolutely zero risk, your internal alarm bells should be ringing. Step 3, look for red flags in the communication. We're talking typos, weird unofficial email addresses, or really aggressive high-pressure tactics. And finally, Step 4, securely verify the source, independently. Don't click the link they texted you. Look up the official phone number or website yourself. This quick 4-step mental checklist can honestly save you from a complete disaster. Section 4, your emergency fund lifeline, the proactive foundation. Okay, I want you to burn this magic number into your brain, 3 to 6. Our sources outline the absolute, non-negotiable necessity of saving 3 to 6 months of living expenses. This is the target you have to aim for if you want to navigate unexpected events. And it's not just a random figure either. 3 to 6 months gives you the actual breathing room to handle a sudden job loss, a massive medical bill, or, your roof suddenly caving in, without having to take on crippling credit card debt. It is the literal foundation of your entire financial fortress.
To really drive this home, our sources shared a pretty powerful real-life story of someone whose emergency fund acted as a literal lifeline. They said, "When the unexpected happened, my emergency fund didn't just save my bank account, it saved my peace of mind." I love that because it perfectly illustrates that an emergency fund isn't just dead money sitting in a vault somewhere. It is an active shock absorber for your life. When the absolute worst happens, you are just dealing with the crisis itself. You aren't up at 3 a.m. panicking about how you're going to keep the lights on.
And that leads to a profoundly important realization highlighted in our text. Financial wellness, it isn't just about the math. Establishing this robust fund deeply impacts the emotional side of finance. By building that 3 to 6 month buffer, you are drastically reducing your money-related stress. This is a massive component of your overall day-to-day well-being. Just knowing you have that safety net completely changes how well you sleep at night, how you perform at your job, and even how you interact with your loved ones. Finally, Section 5, the superpower of literacy, a lifelong journey. Our source materials frame continuous learning not as some boring chore you have to do, but as an ongoing superpower. True financial security totally relies on continuous education because the landscape is always shifting, right? Scammers are always inventing new tricks, so you have to adapt to new digital threats just as fast. By staying educated, you maintain the financial stability you've worked so incredibly hard to build, which ultimately ensures your lasting independence. Think of it this way. Your knowledge is the one single asset no scammer can ever steal, and no economic downturn can ever erase. I want to leave you with this final, crucial thought from our explainer today. We've mapped out the modern battlefield, we've activated your scam detector, and we've laid the groundwork for an unshakable emergency fund. But the most important element in all of this is you. Your financial literacy is a superpower. So now that you know exactly how to build and maintain your fortress, how will you empower yourself today? Are you going to finally change that weak password you've had since 2010? Will you start automating your emergency savings? Or maybe dig into the fine print of that too good to be true investment someone pitched you? The choice is entirely yours, and your financial future completely depends on it.